Hey everybody, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. This is Kana and you're in my corner. Sorry for the little delay. That's my fault for once. I had a little bit trouble finding, this mysterious, wonderful guest we have sitting with me today. Would you like
Uh,
to introduce yourself to everybody?
sure. I'm Julianne Taylor, voice actress.
Very awesome. And, I was actually wondering, I was going through a little bit of your credits, and I was curious, do you have a role that you think's a breakout role for you?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Let me think. Well, I I think Itanabe from Planetas kind of stands out for me, even though it kind of came later in my career. Um, Also, another one that stands out that I get fan mail about is Ichigo from Please Teacher. But I don't know that they were breakout roles so much I, as maybe the fans. They were popular shows that I got more email from. Ichigo from Please Teacher was so different for me because I had never, that's not like a typical voice that I normally do because she's right down here and a little lower and a lot more subdued than the typical characters that I had played. So I think maybe people were surprised to kind of hear that from me. Um, but yeah, those are the two that come to mind right now, anyway.
Having having to go at such a low range, was that difficult at first, or did you fall into sort of like a pattern with it? Did it become like a habit?
Yeah, no, it was not a voice that I'd ever done. The casting director really helped me discover it, and she kept saying, go lower, and then she said, and more just a straight read with no emotion, no reaction. And that really helped me kind of find the character. And then the laugh, the laugh was a laugh I had to kind of discover as well because it was in the lower registers, and it wasn't so much it was hard to do because it was lower. It was just so different from anything I'd ever done. So um, that was kind of fun to discover that, something so different.
So you got to expand your vocal range with that role.
Yes, I sure did. I sure did. Yeah, and the whole sort of subdued part of that character was a challenge for me because I think especially us anime voice actors, we do have a broader sort of over the top range. So I think when we get to the characters that are a little less flowery, if you will, it's harder to take that direction, and it's almost like you have to do less, so that can be challenging when you're used to kind of being all over the place and up and down and very colorful, and to play a character that's a little more underneath the surface is absolutely a challenge.
It's funny. I've always heard that it's better to have more and be able to pull it back than to, not have enough.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that's something that I've always heard too, and it's true. It's definitely true. But it can also work against you sometimes. Like, I think going from animation to commercials, for example, two very different styles of voiceover. You also have to be able to sort of climb into other genres and not be so to take that note, to not do so much and trust that. I think I know for myself that doing a lot of animation, I find myself in situations where the directors do say, okay, not so much, or it sounds too flowery, ease up there a little, and you have to trust that you still sound interesting, or you still sound engaged in whatever you're trying to sell or whatever the character's doing, You have to trust that, it's okay. You don't have to go be so big. So that's something that I'm actually working on right now, just as a voice actress. Because I'm starting to read for more commercial copy and other things, and so that's been a kind of a neat thing to challenge, something new and different, and honing my craft and just trying to improve.
Now, I'm curious where video games lie in that, because you mentioned animation, you can be over the top, but I would think with video games, too, you'd have to, do all the hi-yahs and the screams and all that other things.
Yeah, the bottom line is it always has to be real. And so whether it's very broad comedy you're doing or something wacky or something more serious, drama or video games, it still has to be real. Whatever level you're giving it, it has to be real. And video games are, I think, the hardest because, first of all, you're normally scheduled for a 4-hour session.
Mm-hmm.
So vocally, that's very demanding, especially if you do have a lot of fight cues at the end or a lot of yelling, all those hi-yahs, like you say. Sometimes you have like 2 or 3 hours of that. And not only do you have 2 or 3 hours of it, but you could very well have the director saying to you, we want 3 in a row of the same line. So, you're doing that hi-yah three different times in a row, and you want them to sound different, and you're doing that for 2 or 3 hours. So it is very vocally demanding, and energy-wise, it's very demanding. And it can also be at the same time extremely fun because you have a lot of playroom, to kind of play around in the booth and give the director and the producers all kind of choices. So that's fun. That can be fun.
I have to wonder, do you have any secrets where, to keep your voice intact, like drink this sort of tea or anything like that?
Always to stay hydrated is a good thing. It's a good thing to start out with. I never, ever, ever go into the booth or an audition without water, because one time I got caught, I think it was in an audition, without water, and it was like, it was really difficult. So that's definitely my rule of, always to try to stay hydrated from the beginning. But if I have something where I have to do a lot and my voice gets tired, then I try to rest it as much as possible, and even whispering is not good at that point when you need to truly rest your voice. And
right.
But I do like cherry lifesavers.
There's the secret.
Yeah, that's the secret. Cherry lifesavers. Because anytime you go for some kind of throat lozenge, like something like for a cold, it's going to have eucalyptus or some kind of mint in it, and that's going to dry you out even more. So that's why I go for the cherry lifesavers.
It's funny with your water advice, because I live in the desert, so it's like we can't even leave the house without water.
Oh, right.
I'm in Nevada, so it's like it's always 100 and something degrees here.
Oh, yeah, right, especially now in summer. Gosh.
Yeah. But I'm curious, have you ever had any mishaps in the booth or any really funny jokes that you still remember to this day or anything like that?
Oh, gosh. One time, a long time ago, when I first started my career, I was so nervous. And it was a walla session. And, a walla session is where you're with other actors and you go in together into the booth as a group, and you do all the, you voice all of the extra things in the project. Like, for example, if there's a scene in a restaurant, then you play all the people in the background, with restaurant noise, like, we'd like to order now, or could I get this or that, or, you just make it up in the booth, right?
Right.
And so it was a wall session, and I was really nervous. And I was so nervous that I really just wasn't even quite present. So I walked into the booth, and I literally stood the other way, the way opposite the microphones, and opposite where I was supposed to be looking at the television monitor. And all the other actors were just kind of looking at me like, "Hello, what are you doing? Do you do voiceover, or what are you doing over there by yourself, looking away from everything?" And then I kind of straightened myself out and took a few deep breaths and got through it. But yeah, it was just like a very silly moment where I just checked out because of my nerves.
You just like you wanted to forget it after you went home.
Oh, totally. And it's like, oh, I hope I don't see those people the next time,
They'll remember me.
I'm stupid. Yeah, exactly.
I'll have a nickname. No.
Yeah. Yeah, the spacey girl over in the corner.
Well, we're going to take a short break here in the corner, but keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan, and we'll find some more funny stories to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, golly, I'm bored.
Have you considered listening to some music, Mr. Ooze, sir?
It's time to pay the piper.
As fun as destroying the command center may be, sir, might I suggest 918 The Fan? Lots of amusing teen DJs and the like.
A teenager with a big mouth. Not much has changed in 6,000 years.
I believe, sir, that they also have a number of celebrity guests from the anime field in for interviews.
Woo! Where's my autograph book?
That's the spirit, sir. 918thefan.com. As the kids say, check it out.
Hey everybody, we're back, and I didn't chase off my wonderful guest. Instead, we're going to have a battle of the fighting spirit, because we're going to talk about fighting games. And you actually got to be, two characters in BlazBlue, Calamity Trigger, and Continuum Shift, yes?
Yes, I did. Tsubaki Yayoi and Kokanoe.
And now I'm curious, when you recorded for the first game, did you know you would be making an appearance in the second?
I did not. Yeah, I did not. That was a surprise. And I didn't know also that those two characters would have a scene together.
Oh, that must have been very interesting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, and at first I kind of panicked, like, oh no, I hope they don't sound too much alike. But the director got me through them, I think, well, and drew out some stuff out of me, and I think it ended up okay, but it was a bit nerve-wracking there for a minute.
Were you scared that you'd hear you'd hear the performance of yourself and go to that voice instead of the voice you were doing?
Well, we don't record like that, so I wouldn't have heard, like, the line before. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have heard my voice, doing the line before. But I think it's something, that we're kind of hyper aware of as voice actors, especially in games, because you can get, sometimes at the end there they can throw a bunch of different characters your way, and I'm always asking, okay, how close is this to the other character I played, like, so we can place the voice right and make sure that it doesn't sound like exactly alike. Luckily, these two characters were very different, so that helps. But and Kokanoe, she was, she's a character that I don't play often.
She's kind of mean.
Yeah, right. And actually, some of that was fun for me because I never get to play mean characters. So I'm in the booth yelling and being mean, and it's all okay because it's just in a booth on a mic. I don't have to be mean to anybody, in actuality. But yeah, even sometimes the director would say, you have to sound more mad, like you're mad at your son. Yell at the person like you're mad at your son. I have an 11-year-old son, so, and I'm not really a yeller, like, as a mom, so it was challenging, and it was was very fun at the same time. And she just has so many great lines about, just the way she talks to people that, you would never say that to people. So that was fun that, I actually got to say those lines with disdain or anger or whatever.
It was like anger management.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the characters actually fights in the game, so you got to do all those screams and hi-yas and all the complicated stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and those screams and fighting scenes are always a challenge because they should sound like you're really doing it. So you've got to put some physical effort into the sound that you're doing. And that's always a challenge. I never forget working with Kirk Thornton, who directed me one time, and actually I was playing a boy character for one of the first times, and he was the one who took me through a lot of fight cues for that show and helped me to get better at those fight cues and efforts, especially because I was playing a boy, because he would say, that you sound like a girl, try it this way, and he would kind of direct me through it, and I learned a lot from him. It was great.
I mean, you have to kind of almost physically, well, not physically feel it, but it's funny, I would think you'd have to react to it like you're actually getting hit, and even though you're all alone in a booth.
Exactly, yeah, and you can move to a certain extent, but in the booth, and that does help. Even the smallest movements help, because, it can be very subtle. There's a difference between getting hit and hitting someone in the sound, and in that effort. So those were the kind of things that I try to learn early on, to really be specific with those kind of efforts. Even now, efforts are challenging. I think they're the hardest, really.
Definitely. I have to wonder, though, like, have you ever accidentally hit the mic or a stand or something?
Yeah, sure. And you just, take two. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm curious, do you have any other projects, that are coming up or that you worked on and they're finally coming out? Do you have anything like that?
The latest one was Shiraoka. That's a game that came out, and you can go to shira-oka.com. That's shira-oaka.com. And then I'm working on a web cartoon series right now, but I can't tell you the title yet. I play a teacher.
Oh.
And I'll probably announce that one when I can, as soon as it comes out. I think it's supposed to come out, I think at least by December. But I'll probably be announcing that one on my Facebook page. And my Facebook page is Julie Ann Taylor, voice actress. So you can go on there and friend me, and then I usually update stuff through there. My website is down right now, so the best way to reach me is through Facebook.
Oh, and you don't do the Twitter thing? Just Facebook?
No, I'm not doing Twitter right now. Just Facebook.
All right. Well, we'll make sure that we send a few stalkers over there. Kidding. And I'm curious, are you a convention goer at all? Do you have any conventions coming up?
I occasionally attend conventions. I haven't been in a while, and I don't have any plans to go. I normally go to the local one in the Los Angeles area, but I haven't been for a while because it's always in the summertime, and I was on vacation.
Oh, well, that's actually very nice to be on vacation.
Yes.
And I'm curious, is there anything we can keep updated on your Facebook if you're going to go to any conventions or meetups with the fans?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And is there anything else you want to tell the listeners out there?
Well, just thanks for all the emails, and thank you for the support. It's very encouraging, and I always love to hear, that what shows you guys are into and what you're watching and what you think of it, and it's great to hear from everybody, so thank you.
Aw, and I'm wondering, before we let you go, we ask everybody if they'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Okay. What is it?
We ask everybody if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us, and we do it live on air for the mess-ups.
Sure.
Basically, we were wondering if you could say, my name is, insert your name, I do this, you can insert a character, voice acting, actor, whatever you want to say, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Sure. Do you want me to do it in character or just as me?
You can do it in any way you want to, whichever you feel more comfortable.
Okay. My name is Julianne Taylor, and I do voiceover work, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Yay! No mess-ups or anything.
Oh, thank goodness. Since we're live.
Yes. Live stuff is always scary, but we appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And for everybody who might have missed this interview, you can catch it on the website in the next few days. Keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you don't. Up next is Flo and their song Color.